Hi everyone, Catherine here from Inky Finger Cat, back with Christmas in July, day 14, and we have a colour combo. And colour combo for today is navy, weird mark on that cardstock for some reason, teal, and we've gone with emerald green, and I've gone with this fab foiled cardstock. That's what I put in my little folder, along with some black and white card, and I decided to use this Birdie Friends in Winter die and stencil set. So we'll see what I end up creating with that. So for those of you who don't know, Christmas in July is where I attempt to do a festive project every single day with a video in July, which is quite a big undertaking, especially when you are still trying to do a very busy, quite pressured full-time job. And you've got a load of design team work on all at the same time. Not ideal timing for everything, but never mind. I'm really enjoying it and delighted with how well the videos have gone down so far. Some new subscribers, people who've liked and left me comments. I love all of that. So this is your little reminder. Subscribe if you want to see more videos. Hit the notification bell if you want to know when they're coming up. July, it's easy to know because it's every day, but that isn't how I craft for the whole of the rest of the year. I don't do this every day. This would be insane to do this every day. And please, if you enjoy this video, please show me that you've enjoyed the video by hitting the little like button, giving me a thumbs up, and as well, leave me a little comment to tell me what you liked about it. Would you have done something different? Or is there something that you go, oh, I've never thought about doing that? I don't know what I'm going to create, apart from those are the products that I've got out. Who knows what actually happens when I put you in the overhead and we start crafting, on which it's time to do that now. Okay, so these winter birds, I made a bit of an error. I did the whole, let's do the stenciling first and the die cutting second. So I'm telling you now, this is not the way you meant to do it. But I kept it in because, you know, I'm human, I make mistakes, and I want you to learn from my mistakes. So don't do what I'm doing here. So I've chosen to use my Stampin' Up! Inks, and I've got a mix of Bermuda Bay, Night of Navy, and Tranquil Tide as my three kind of contributing colours to the colour scheme. And I'm going in for each of the layers of the birds with a different colour. It does give you a bit of a clue on the stencil to say, do this one light, do this one cream, do this one, etc. Obviously you can choose your own colours, but it gives you a bit of an indication as to whether you should be going in heavy or light with your blending brushes. And I think my birds are very cute. The problem comes when I come to die cut them. Now the beaks, it suggests orange. I didn't do orange, I did brown, and then I changed my mind and went over with the black, so it's a sort of browny black. And then you've got another layer that's for the eyes of the bird. It says you can skip these because it does have the little indents on the dies, which obviously I'd not realised at this point. And then this last layer, I decided I only wanted to add colour to the scarves, so I masked off the other areas because I didn't want the body of the bird or the fluff on the hat to go green. Then I did my branch, and at this point I get the dies out and realise that they are solid dies and you cannot see through them. So I have a go at trying to line them up through guesswork, and you can probably guess what happened. They were not lined up. So ran them through the die cutting machine, and as they came out it was very obvious that they were not lined up. I'd got big white bits around one part of the bird, and the same for the branch. I'd got like a little bit of a, what's the opposite of shadow? A bit of light on the branch where it would be a shadow. So off we go again. This time I have die cut the birds out. I am popping them back in to the template so that they're in the right place for me to then do my stenciling again. And I basically do the same colours all over again. So I'm going to speed this up to 8 times the speed because basically you've already watched me do this. But this time I'm doing it over the die cut, so it's much easier to line up where the stencil's meant to go. It's much easier to make sure that you're getting everything in the right place and that you're not going to end up with a wonky die cut at the end. So again, learn from my lesson. If you have a stamp set like this, a stencil set with dies like this, it's probably better to do the die cutting first. I then decided not to redo the branch as such. I've just added more brown ink to it on the bottom where it will be shaded. And that is pretty much my little pieces done. But then I decide I am going to add in, there is sort of like a little garland element die as well. So I decide I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that from the green foiled cardstock. But first of all, I'm going to get these birds all stuck together. So the fact that I've die cut 2 of them, one with the wonky colouring, means I can just stack them up. I'm putting the wonky colouring one underneath, obviously, and my pretty bird on the top. I'm then going to stick them to the branch, and I am using the guide of the packaging to decide how to do that. And it does seem to indicate that all the birds are kind of sitting so that the tails go behind the branch, apart from that little one that's got a white tummy, and he's going to sit on top of the branch. And I just glue it all in place and then set it aside to dry. I did manage to get glue all over the desk, so hence clean up time. Right, I'm going to make my card. So I'm going to make my card from the blue cardstock, the dark blue cardstock, and I'm going to cut my standard size card. And then I'm going to cut a panel of this teal colour that's going to sit as the central piece, and then I'm going to cut the foiled cardstock to create a matte layer. And from that foiled cardstock, that's where I'm going to cut this little banner from. So I cut the little banner. It comes with like a string as well as the actual sort of garland bobbly bit. I don't really know how else to describe it. I'll have to do. I don't end up using the string, I just use the garland. And then I decided to create a inked up version as well, using the sort of navy blue and the Bermuda Bay, just so we've got some coordinating colour ink with the birds. And then that's my 2 little garlands that are going to sit hanging from the branch. And so, because I've die cut from that central piece, that's fine because it's all getting covered up. And at this point I decide I want to do something with that teal, so I'm going to just darken the central part of that teal cardstock, and then I go and find a stencil. It's subtle in the background, this stencil work. It's not probably something that was necessary, but I did it anyway. So this is a stencil from the Greetery, and I'm just adding that same colour over the top. So as I say, you can see the pattern there, but it's quite subtle. And then I just did a little splatter of the water so that it gets a little bit of almost the bleaching out. Now I am going to stick my little birds up all on foam adhesive so that they've got some dimension. I went quite heavy-handed with the amount of dimension that I put on this. Yeah, I probably didn't need quite as many foam tabs as I added, but you know, if in doubt, add more. Then stuck that straight down, and the garlands I decided, instead of raising them up because I realised they were too fine, I instead decided to use a little bit of wet glue and stick them straight to the base of that's sort of behind the card, behind the birds, sorry. And that just looks like cute little garlands sticking down over the bird's branch that they are sitting on. And then stuck this together and added my sentiment. The sentiment said, "Oh, what fun," and I just popped that down at the bottom. That's one of those foiled sentiments that I had already pre-made it from scraps quite some time ago, and I'd sat it in the pouch with the supplies because I thought it would come in handy. Now I took another scrap of the white, and this time I have just die cut one of the birds, and he's going to go inside my card. So I'm quickly inking him up. I didn't add any more ink onto my blending tools, just use what was there. But yeah, just doing a really quick job of inking up that one little bird, and he's perfect for sitting inside. So I'm going to create my panel of white for the inside, and then I am just going to add a couple of strips of the foiled cardstock just for something for the bird to sit on. The first one I put in, I realised I'd put it too low for the bird, so I have now added a second one, and this time, unlike the birds on the front, he isn't going to be popped up on with dimension, he's just going to be flat. I have to cut those little strips off at the edge, and then this is ready for popping inside the card. And there we are. Job is a good one. I think that's a cute card. I love this bird die set. I think I should use it more frequently. If the last time I used it was November, I probably need to revisit this one again more frequently than I have done. I hope you've enjoyed. Please do remember to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and leave me a comment below what would be a good colour scheme for these birds to go in for future cards. Thank you once again for those of you who have recently subscribed. It's lovely to have you join my madness, and thanks so much for watching this video. Until next time, bye bye.